The forest had a way of swallowing sound. That was the first thing Ethan noticed as he pulled his pickup into the dirt clearing of Black Pine National Park. The engine shut off, headlights died, and suddenly the whole world around him felt muted. No wind, no birds, just the endless wall of pines, their dark silhouettes stretching up into a sky bruised with twilight. He was a seasoned hiker, 32 years old, ex-military, someone who craves solitude after years of city life. A 3-day solo trip into the backcountry was supposed to be therapy. No cell service, no office emails, just him, a tent, and the trail. But as he hauled his pack onto his shoulders and locked the truck, he felt a prickle crawl up his spine. The silence wasn't peaceful. It was oppressive, like the forest itself was holding its breath. He told himself it was nothing, just nerves. He'd read about this place, after all. Black Pine was infamous for stories, strange lights, missing hikers, and of course, sightings of something massive in the trees. Locals called it a Bigfoot hotspot. Ethan didn't believe in cryptids. Not really. Still, the thought clung to him as he started down the trail, the last streaks of sunlight bleeding away. By the time he reached the clearing where he'd pitch his tent, night had swallowed the forest whole, and the woods had gone too quiet. The fire crackled low, throwing orange light against the trunks of the surrounding pines. Ethan chewed on jerky and sipped whiskey from a flask, trying to shake the unease that refused to leave his chest. Somewhere beyond the fire's reach, a branch snapped. Ethan froze. He waited, ears straining. Another snap, then silence. He scanned the trees, flashlight beam slicing through the black. Nothing, just a forest, endless and still. He muttered to himself, "Deer." But then came the sound again. Not footsteps, not rustling. 3 hard knocks, wood on wood. Knock, knock, knock. The sound echoed through the pines, low and deliberate, as if someone or something was striking a tree with a club. Ethan's skin crawled. He'd read about this on online forums. Hunters and hikers claimed Bigfoot communicated through tree knocks. Warnings, territory markers. He gripped his hatchet tighter, eyes locked on the darkness. Just kids screwing around, he whispered, though the nearest road was miles away. The forest gave no answer, only silence. That night, he barely slept. The next day was bright, the forest almost beautiful again. Sunlight pierced the canopy in golden shafts. Birds sang. It almost made Ethan laugh at himself. He let some noises spook him. That was all. By afternoon, he trekked deep into the backcountry, away from marked trails. His map said the valley below would open into a small lake. That was his goal. Swim, fish, relax. But as he descended, he noticed something odd. The forest floor was disturbed. Not by deer, not by boots. The ground was heavy with impressions. Huge impressions, each nearly 2 feet long, spaced in a bipedal stride. Footprints. Ethan crouched, heart hammering. The prints were deep, pressed into mud and pine needles. Too big for a man, too wide. He followed them for 20 yards before something stopped him cold. Up ahead, between the trees, stood a shape. Massive, dark. It wasn't moving, but it was there, like a pillar of shadow among the trunks. The outline was wrong for a bear. Too tall, shoulders too broad. The shape shifted just slightly, and in that brief sliver of sunlight filtering down, Ethan saw it. A face, covered in tangled black hair, eyes gleaming amber, watching him. The thing let out a sound, low, guttural, half growl, half breath, that vibrated in his chest. Then, with impossible speed, it turned and vanished into the trees. Ethan staggered back, breath ragged. His instincts screamed at him to run, but his legs wouldn't move. It was real. It was here to be why nightfall. The forest had changed. The birds had gone silent again. The air felt heavy, suffocating. Every time Ethan looked into the trees, he expected to see eyes staring back. He built his fire bigger that night, flames licking high into the air. His hatchet lay across his lap, shotgun within reach. But the forest didn't care. At midnight, the knocks came again. Louder this time. Knock, knock, knock. From the east, then again from the west. Two different sources. He wasn't dealing with one creature. He was surrounded. Branches snapped. Brush rustled. Something heavy circled his camp, staying just beyond the firelight. He caught glimpses. Massive legs slipping between trees, a broad hand curling around a trunk, glowing eyes reflecting firelight. Ethan shouted into the dark, "I'm armed. Stay back." The forest laughed at him with silence. And then came the scream. It wasn't human. A long, piercing howl that rose into a shriek and crashed into a guttural roar. The kind of sound that made your body remember you were prey. Ethan fired a warning shot into the trees. The blast echoed through the valley. Silence followed. For a moment, he thought it worked. Then something threw a rock the size of a football into the edge of his campfire, scattering sparks into the night. Ethan grabbed his pack and ran. Branches tore at his face, roots snagged his boots, but he didn't stop. He barreled downhill, following his compass toward the lake. If he could reach open ground, maybe he'd stand a chance. But the forest followed. Heavy footfalls thundered behind him. Low grunts echoed. Something massive kept pace, just out of sight. At last, the trees broke, and the lake spread before him, black and rippling under the moonlight. He collapsed at the shore, chest heaving. Across the water, movement. A silhouette stepped from the tree-line. Then another, and another. 3 of them. Huge, shaggy forms, each at least 8 feet tall. They stood in a row, silent, watching. Ethan stumbled back, shotgun raised. His mind screamed impossible. But the creatures didn't charge. They just stared, studying him. Then the one in the middle stepped forward. It lifted its massive arm, longer than a man was tall, and slammed its fist against a tree trunk. The crack echoed like thunder. Ethan fired. The blast lit the night. The creature didn't fall. It roared, a deafening sound that shook his bones, and the others answered. The forest erupted with sound. Ethan ran along the shoreline, desperate for higher ground. The creatures pursued, crashing through the woods with terrifying speed. One broke from the tree-line, bursting into the open. Moonlight revealed its full form. Thick black hair, chest like a wall, arms dragging almost to its knees. Its face was twisted in rage, mouth wide to reveal yellowed teeth. Ethan fired again, the blast catching it in the shoulder. The creature staggered, but didn't fall. It screamed, grabbed a log thicker than Ethan's waist, and hurled it like a spear. It missed by inches, slamming into the dirt beside him. Ethan scrambled up a rocky slope, lungs burning. At the top, he spun, shotgun trembling in his hands. The creatures closed in, glowing eyes flickering in the dark. He fired until the gun clicked empty, and still they came. The last thing Ethan remembered was a shadow blotting out the moon, a hand big enough to crush his skull reaching toward him. Then, nothing. 3 weeks later, park rangers found Ethan's truck abandoned at the trailhead. His tent was shredded, fire pit cold. No trace of him remained. But in the mud by the lake, pressed deep into the earth, were footprints. Huge, human-shaped, and scattered among them, blood. The case was filed as another missing hiker, the 13th in Black Pine in less than 5 years. Locals whispered otherwise. They said Ethan had learned the truth too late. Bigfoot wasn't a myth. It was a predator, and the forest still belonged to it.